Alright, well, as you can see, I made it to Coney Island this morning. So, pretty much what I recently realized is that I don't know how much longer I'm going to be living in the city. So, I compiled a list of places that I wanted to photograph before I leave. And I've been photographing Central Park for pretty much all the time that I lived in New York City so far. I just kind of go there every time I want to take photos. And obviously, it's gotten a little bit dry since I photographed there, with so much volume. So I'm taking the initiative to go out of my way and find some new places to photograph. So that's how I ended up here in Coney Island today. I have a bunch of other places I want to check out as well. But for now, I got up here dummy early. It's like before 6 a.m. I woke up around like 4:30 to catch the train to get here for sunrise. So, sun is up officially. I just spent a little while taking photos of these rocks over here. But now it's time to try and rock some golden hour photos. I was actually here just a few days ago, and interesting the way it's kind of beaming through, and didn't really love the look of Coney Island, honestly. I just don't know if it's a place that's photographically my style, I guess. But we're gonna try and make something work. So, let's see. There's also nobody here. I guess that's what happens when you come at 5 a.m. on a Wednesday. I wish you guys could see how beautiful the moon looked, but nothing's gonna do it justice right now. You know, it's really a shame because there's this nice, beautiful boat, the moon, and these rocks and the ocean, obviously. And it all looks really nice. But I don't think there's any lens that could really get this all in view, honestly. I don't know how that's photographically possible. Because even with the 50mm, you're not getting the moon, the boat, and the rocks all in frame at once. And with the 24 that I have on right now, the magnification isn't quite there to make it look as appealing as it does in real life. Anyways, holy shit, I have gotten so used to shooting with either 40mm or 24mm that putting on the 85 feels like a goddamn telescope. It is ridiculous. I don't even know how to use it anymore, it feels like, because it feels so different. So I might have to retrain how to find compositions with that, because I feel like I've spent a lot of time working on my compositions with 24mm, but 85 might need some work as well. 40 is feeling strong though, but I don't have 40 today. Just 24 and 85. Alright, let's go and look at these rides. Well, this feels a little dumb, and I don't know how I haven't noticed this till now, but taking photos of this playground set, I don't like that I'm casting a big shadow on it. So I guess I have to shoot it from this angle. But there's less sun from this angle. Now, if you find yourself wanting to take pictures in Coney Island, I do think this might be a better spot at night. There's probably more people if you're interested in the people aspect, but also the amusement parks are open and you can just kind of walk into them, I think. That's what it seemed like last time. But in the morning, that is not the case. So it's a little hard to get close with my 24mm lens right now. That is a visual mess. No thanks. Now I wish I could say that I have some sort of emotional connection to this place that would make it a little bit easier to photograph to try and bring back some memories or something like that. But in reality, the only emotional connection I have with this place is the fact that Coney Island was my favorite minigame in Mario Party 5. On the other hand, Central Park is a place that I've developed an emotional connection to because I go there all the time just to clear my own head. So it's a place that I love to photograph because I have that connection to it. I feel bonded to it because it brings me peace and everything like that. Whereas this is just kind of another place in the city to me to some extent. So I do wish I had a bit more of a bond with it, because then I would have some specific subject matter to maybe to elicit, but really it doesn't feel that way. And as a result, I made my way back onto the beach and away from the rides. And like I said, the gates were closed, so it's kind of hard to get pictures of the rides right now. Not my best work. Gonna switch to the 80 again. I think this scene actually has a little bit of potential with all those seagulls over there. Let's see. can't say I'm particularly surprised, but there is an awful lot of litter in the... We've got a chicken bone and regular glass, not sea glass. If you're ever wondering where sea glass comes from, it's from the regular glass of New York and New Jersey. Whenever I go to the ocean, I usually try to get at least a feel for the water, at least a little bit, at least a little bit. Ooh. Hey, my shoe's all wet. Now I have a sandy hand too. Good for handling camera gear. Alright, well I've been here for about an hour now, mostly getting shots of the beach, just a couple of the sort of amenities of Coney Island, I guess you could say. So I'm going to take kind of one more big loop around the block, see what there is to see, and then head home, because the light is turning a little bit more harsh now. Sun is up, so. Alright, so as you can see, I am back from Coney Island and want to do a little bit of image review, kind of talking about how the photo shoot went. This is like kind of my first time documenting a photo walk, so if you guys like this, be sure to let me know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a cool, kind of organic way to make a video and show you guys the process that I have when I'm going out taking photos. Looking at the photos that I have, they're okay. I don't see anything that really jumps out at me, but I do like some of these images. So I'm just gonna kind of walk through them real quick and see what I like. This one, I like how uniform and neat it is. It's just a nice frame, I think. The fence detracts a little bit, but that's fine. And then you have a boat dead center, which is cool. I'm not sure how I feel about this one with the kind of foreground object. I don't even know what this is, a foreground piece of wood. It's okay, but I do like the moon. I think these next couple are ultimately better. I do really like this one with the big green rock up front. I think it's a very nice splash of color in the photo. And when I was editing these, I had two kind of looks in mind. I wanted more of a cooled off blue-green sunrise look. I didn't want the typical blue and orange. I feel like it looks a little boring, I don't know. But then for the rides, I want something a little more brown and something that felt a little more dated to bring out that kind of retro Coney Island feel. Anyways, I like these. Like I said, I think it's nice to have some interesting elements sitting in the back. I took a couple portrait versions of this shot. I'm not sure how I feel about the different edits. I think I still like the bluish green one best. These rocks were just an interesting formation. I was taking a lot of pictures of these because just the way it curves out into the water makes for a more dynamic composition, which is cool. This shot of the wood leading out into the water, I don't know how I quite feel about it. It's a little boring, I think. And that's something I have a hard time with the 24mm. There's just a lot of negative space. I think it's pretty difficult to completely fill the frame every time when you're using a 24mm, especially with nothing dynamic happening in the sky, just empty sky this morning. This shot of my feet and the sand looks fun, but that's about it. I do like these shots that I got of the playground. We have a really nice kind of framing of this big ride in the background through here, which I like. I don't like my shadow on it, but that's what can you do from that angle. I think the next one is less compelling, but I still like the colors. I think this shot of Thunderbolt came out pretty well. I like the angle. I like how it fills up the frame pretty good, and it also had some thumbnail potential. I don't know if I'll actually use this one for a thumbnail or not, but I do have a version with it. And this one just takes all of my presets pretty nicely. Like, I feel like this photo looks good, which is about any of the presets that I'm throwing on it. Gotta fix my hat. And I was shooting ice cold with my 85mm. I don't know what changed, what happened, what's going on, but I put on my 85mm lens and I didn't know what to do. I don't know if that's just because I'm used to the 24 right now and I'm used to the 40 right now, whatever, but I do think I'm going to dedicate some time to relearning the 85 in a sense because that felt rough. Here's a couple pictures with the 85 and they look like shit, so. I tried a couple things with this shot. It's really boring. I'm going to show you guys a couple more boring shots so you can see my failures rather than just the ones that I like. But moving away from bad photos, I think this one is actually pretty decent. I like the colors. Nice, simple, dynamic curve. Got some nice ocean texture up front, which is cool. and a big empty sky. I do wish there was a little something more happening in the sky perhaps, but it is a nice simplistic photo. And now getting into the pictures of the stores and the rides, you guys can see the edit that I put on to make them a little more retro, a little more nostalgic, warm, brown tones, that kind of stuff. I don't love these. They're really basic, but I felt like I was there and it was something that I should try and document a little bit, just to not even tell a story necessarily, but to show the place. Obviously the beach pictures I think look pretty, but I don't think they really show what Coney Island is, whereas these photos, I might not like them as much, but they do definitely show Coney Island rather than just the ocean and some rocks. I got a couple more pictures of some rides, but this one is pretty cool. I think these big circles, especially with the wide angle kind of distortion, just make for an interesting form factor. And like I said earlier, I was shooting this all with either the 24mm or the 85mm, and the 85 wasn't going well, so it was really just all my 24mm lens. And I must say, I was really missing my 40mm for my Canonette. That focal length just feels like something that makes a lot of photos feel very natural, very intuitive to find, I think. Which isn't always the best thing, but I think it is a good thing to have. And I was finding myself throughout this photo walk being like, oh, I think this kind of scene would work on a 40 or a 50, but not so much on 24. Everything just feels too far away to fill the frame. I've been doing so much work with the 24mm, and that's been great, and I've learned a lot, and I've really learned to like it a lot. But there is definitely a time and a place for 40 and 50mm, so definitely something to consider. Anyways, the point of all this is really just to keep on getting out and taking more photos to improve photography, because there's a lot of ways to improve photography, but pretty much the most surefire way to do that is to just take more photos. So I'm trying to shoot a lot, and even if there's not that many great photos, I want to share that with you guys so you guys can see my mistakes and then the successes when they are there. So that's what I'm trying to do. I have a lot more places in New York that I'm going to go out and shoot. And if you guys like these kind of videos, then I'm going to keep on making them while I go out and do these shoots. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all in the next one real soon. And check out some of my favorite photos right now.